lives in my vents, and it's following me. Growing up, I had a very normal life. However, this all changed when I moved houses in the 7th grade. After that, everything went downhill. At first, everything was seemingly normal. Sure, I was nervous about leaving my old friends behind, but I figured it wouldn't be hard to make new ones as I was a very social kid. The house itself was beautiful. Sure, it was old, but nothing out of the ordinary. My parents were excited, as was I, until we stepped inside the house. I remember feeling a chill on the back of my neck. I looked up and noticed there was a vent beside me. I laughed it off, figuring it was just the air conditioner, as it was summertime. I remember walking down the narrow hallway. To the right was a bathroom, and to the left, the laundry room. At the end of the hallway was my new bedroom. Once I opened the door, something felt off. It was as if the air had dropped at least 15 degrees. What struck me most, however, was the vent. It was placed high up, almost too high up, as it was out of place. There wasn't anything out of ordinary about it, but something just didn't feel right. I brushed it off and started unpacking. Once I was somewhat done, it was already almost midnight. I figured I should probably get some sleep as I wanted to explore the town in the morning. I fell asleep with little to no trouble. Suddenly, I woke up and checked the timer. It was 3:30 a.m. on the dot. I sighed and tried to roll over. I couldn't move. Suddenly, I heard a noise. I looked up at where the noise was. It was coming from the vents. Suddenly, I noticed a red glow coming from inside of it. My breathing quickened as I tried to move. A few minutes later, I was finally able to move, and the glow disappeared. I jumped out of bed and turned the dot lights on. I figured it must have been an animal, and I would have my father check it out in the morning. The night went by slowly. I watched the sun rise and heard my parents get out of bed. I left my room and met my mother making breakfast. I told her about what I had saw, and she assured me it was likely a small animal or my imagination. I laughed it off and walked around town for a bit. I met some kids who were also living in my neighborhood. When I told them where I lived, I remember the shocked look on their faces. They told me that the last family there had been brutally murdered and nobody could find out who did it. They said that their bodies looked like they had been mauled by a wild animal. I figured that they were just messing with me, so I left the subject alone. The looks on their faces, however, made me feel like there was some sort of truth to it. Once the sun went down, I walked home. I saw a note on the kitchen counter that was signed by my parents. The note said they went out to dinner. This wasn't out of the usual, so I shrugged it off. I took my shoes off and went to my room. I climbed into bed and tried to relax, but the